I'm still new in my current company, but I've already had a conversation with my team lead wherein they said you're expected to. This was really shocking for me. You're expected to take at least 2 weeks of continuous leave just to recover and refresh yourself. And I'm like, 2 weeks at least expectation. I'm like, oh wow. So that speaks a lot already.
Hello, this is Jörg, which is German for George here at Find a Job in Germany, and I welcome you back to another success story. The nice thing about not just our personal coaching program, but about our job is actually that we do not really get to meet any of the people who sign up with us until they're in Germany. So that means if you are interested to join our personal coaching program to find a job in Germany in tech and IT, you are going to be coached from your home office, from your house, essentially, because also the hiring process will be from home. And we do not get to meet you in person until you're actually here, until you relocate, settle in, and do all the nice things that come with your job in Germany. And today, it's my pleasure that I'm going to be traveling to Munich, which is in the south of Germany. It's the capital of Bavaria, to meet one of our successful clients from our program. I'm already really excited and also very much so to take you all along on this journey to meet Kavya, who is an Android developer. I think a focus on Java, not Kotlin so much, but she had a wide stack. The nice thing about her is that she agreed to meet you guys, and it's also really cool for me to see her in person now.
Such a pleasure to be with you, Kavya. Finally,
Yes.
I just told people when I did the announcement for this video that a part of my job is to obviously work with the people remotely, like we did. So I never get to meet the people until they're actually here. And it's really cool to meet you finally.
Nice to meet you too. I'm really looking forward to this interview.
Awesome. How's Munich, Kavya?
It's a beautiful place. I have no regrets. It's a very beautiful city. The weather is good. The time that I came here, it's a perfect weather. The people are nice. It's a beautiful city.
Perfect. And we're here at English Garden, and you told me you had not been.
Yes, it's the
So
first time.
it's also a premiere for you.
Yes, it's the first time I'm here. Thanks for deciding on this place.
Really great. Kavya, tell us a little more about how you came here to Germany, maybe the first couple of days, how you settled in, just for people to get an understanding of how it was for you to, land, find your new apartment, etc.
Okay. So luckily in my case, my company was kind enough to help me arrange a initial place of accommodation. So accommodation part was not really a trouble for me, at least the current temporary one. And then once I landed here, I already arranged for a cab before coming here. So I had someone I could call and say, hey, you need to drop me here. So that made things easy. So I would suggest that. So it can get overwhelming because you're in a new country, you're in a new place. You don't know how to get out of the airport or just basic things like that. So having someone there who'll be there to pick you up and drop you to a place, that really helped out. And then initial few days, I guess it just went in the all the registration part, the bank, the getting the SIM card. So there are a lot of process that you have to do initially for the first few weeks. So it can get overwhelming, but then it's something that you have to get it done with, and then it's a easy breeze.
Cool. So, getting settled, getting all these little things out of the way, I'm sure that is still also bugging you in a little way. Like opening your bank account, it's still not finally open, but it still takes a little time. Yeah, everybody says that. But that's perfectly fine, I can tell you. Um, your employer, they hired you at the end of the year, actually before Christmas, and then you got into Christmas season. And then tell us a little more about the visa process. So, actually, rewinding now a little, how did that work? Did they take care of that? Did you have to also do anything from your end?
Okay. So in my case, my employer were willing to reimburse the amount. So it was not really an active relocation support wherein they would provide the agency. That was not the kind that I had. So we did go with Visa Right, which was suggested again by you guys, and they did a phenomenal job in supporting. Honestly speaking, they made things a lot easier, and especially in my case, I had a lot of queries. It's the first time I came out of India. I had so many queries, and initially I would go to you, and then you said, I think Visa Right are the right people to answer these queries. And there were multiple email exchange with, in my case it was Ilya, the one who was in charge, and they were really supportive. So Visa Right was the is a very good visa agency that helped out, and then later on we can reimburse the amount. So that's how that was the visa part of it. And then yeah, I guess it took for me 2 weeks time. Yes, I applied. I submitted my all the documents to Visa, right? And then in a week's time, they gave me a date when I'm supposed to book the appointment to via VFS. And then I guess it was after 2 weeks time I had to book the appointment. And then once I went there, I think I got it in 4 days. I got my visa in 4 days, so it was really quick in Bangalore.
Super
Yes,
fast.
it was really
Wow.
quick.
And now I'm rewinding even a little further. That was the first day we actually met, not in person, but on the phone, because you booked a get to know call with us. And I remember how you were very specific about your motivation about coming to Germany. And in fact, you told me my motivation to come to Germany is that I have been looking to find work life balance in India for the last 5 years, and I have not been able to. That's why I want to try Germany. Yeah, I remember that so
Yes.
clearly. Maybe you want to share a little more about that.
Yes, definitely. So I do have 5 years of experience, and I've already switched 4 jobs now, and none of the places I got work-life balance. Honestly speaking, the days are really long. I mean, you may start your day at let's say 9 or 10, but then it extends up to 11, 12, or sometimes even overnight during the release time. And it's not a one-time thing. It can become a habit wherein very often you're expected to stay extra hours, and it got worse during the work from home period because there's no really fixed time when you can leave, saying that hey, I have my cab, I need to leave. So it just got worse from there. And then I did research multiple countries, and uh, with Germany, often it came up that work-life balance is really good. The vacation, they really encourage it, and it's from the government side itself. I believe that they encourage having a fixed time, and you should not let people work overtime. And if they do, they should be compensated for it. I guess there's some rules of that sort. So that really helps out. And I'm still new in my current company, and but I've already had a conversation with my team lead wherein they said you're expected to. This was really shocking for me. You're expected to take at least 2 weeks of continuous leave just to recover and refresh yourself. And I'm like, 2 weeks at least expectation. I'm like, oh wow. So that speaks a lot already.
Yeah, you're right. There's actually, I can fill you in on this and everybody else. There is a mix of both. There is government regulations. On the one hand, you're supposed to be taking your leave, otherwise, there is no use in granting anybody leave to begin with. And unions are quite strong here. And there's also European law, which says that your hour which you are working needs to be tracked. And anything that you work overtime also technically needs to be compensated, and there's rules for that. And second of all, there is a pressure from the market. Because here in Germany, I would say discussions about jobs have evolved beyond salary. It's discussions about life and work have evolved beyond what is just what you're making, and it's gone into areas which go about perks, about benefits, about culture. Those are very important things. So it's interesting that you're already sharing your first hands-on experience right from the beginning, from those first couple of weeks. I really hope that you're getting here what you're looking for. Now, I would like to rewind even more. You've been working for some international companies in India, and I would like to know more about why you decided you wanted to go into tech and IT in the first place.
Okay, so initially we have back in India wherein you have 12th standard wherein you can choose your domain, and we have computer science there as well. So mine was a weird case. I actually went with bio, so I was actually into the medical field. That was my initial goal. But then my sister was studying engineering, and I knew that okay, in 4 years you can already start working, and okay, those are the benefits. And
Make money quickly.
yes, and then again, if when you at least back in India we have it either mainly people encourage getting into doctor field or engineering field, and so that was what was in my head as well. So either medical or else engineering, and then I saw my sister the way she was studying, and that's when I got first introduced to IT world, and I'd have a look at okay she's coding, okay this is how things go. So that was my first. experience with the IT field, and I decided, okay, chuck medical. I'll just go ahead with computers, and I just shifted my domain, and I went with the engineering. I would say initial 4 years, I wouldn't say I was very good at it, or I was actively. I mean, you have this like a prodigy. You're pretty talented. You're meant to be coding. That was not me. I had to put in a lot of effort, and I would say what really clicked was internship that I did. So unless you really do some hands-on experience with the actual company, you don't really understand why are you learning the things that you learn during 4 years of engineering. So in my final year, I had a pretty good experience with internship. So, that's when it really clicked for me. Like, okay, coding is what I want to be doing. This is where I actually want to get better at, and I want to actually invest time and spend extra time as well, attend conference and things like that. So if anyone out there, if they have a chance to do internship earlier, I would suggest them to do that, because that's when it really clicks for you. I mean, all the studies that you do, it may not really be something that actually clicks or makes you feel like, hey, I need to code. But then when you go out and experience in the actual world how they use it, it actually makes a lot of difference. That's what got me hooked to IT world, and I actually wanted to continue and get better, and climb the ladder in technical aspect.
That's really cool. May I ask, how is it on your current team here in the Munich company that you're working for? How large is your team? Where do people come from? And what about guys and girls? What's the distribution?
Okay. I would say about my immediate team that I work with. I mean, we have a larger traffic team that we call, and that consists of maybe the website team or the mobile team. So I would speak about the mobile team itself. It's a pretty small team with, I'd say, there are four of us, and the fifth person would be the team lead. Two people in Android, including myself, and two people in iOS development. They are looking for the product manager, so I guess there'll be six of us down the line.
Okay.
And the distribution isn't that great. I'm the only girl in the mobile team, so it's not that great. The distribution, I guess, it's everywhere.
Which is something I might want to add. If you are not a man and you're a software developer and you want to find a job in Germany, this is actually your time. Diversity plays a huge role. I guess it doesn't play only a huge role in Germany, but also in India. But teams obviously need to make sure that they are diverse. I know there's a Berlin company, and I talked to one of the engineers there, and he told me we're making an app for women to track their cycle. And we are just guys. And we're building a product for women, and there's no woman on the production team, on the engineering team. And I said, yeah, you probably should get that solved, that problem.
I agree. I guess it's a sad thing. I mean, it's very evident the difference in the ratio, the gap that you see. You don't really find many. You can find a lot of women in the, maybe let's say, HR team or the client-facing members, maybe the manager, all the managerial part. But then you don't really find many ladies who are into, let's say, a technical architect, or let's say a team lead. You can still find. That's a very sad part, and it's the same back in India as well. It's not something specific, I would say, to Germany. I have witnessed it back in India as well. And I would, from what I noticed is when people join, you find the equal ratio. I mean, as freshers, but then they don't really climb the ladders, or they just leave the domain. Let's say family planning or something like that, and there's a gap in their resume, and then they cannot get back into the IT field. So that is what I have actually heard from my friends as well, that they want to get back to IT field, but then again, there's a huge 1 year, 2 year gap in their resume, so it gets difficult. So that's a challenge that what could lead to this ratio gap, I believe.
What made you decide you want to become an Android developer?
Okay, so this actually I've tried my hand on multiple things now. I started with website. I was working on the backend development with Node.js. That's what I learned in my internship as well. And then for a year or so, I was still working in backend. And it so happened that in my second company, uh, the project that I was actually training for once I joined, that project never came in. And the option was I had to shift to Android, or I had to work in another team. And the person who was actually training me, he really wanted me to work in his team, and he said, I think you can shift to Android. I wouldn't suggest you to go to that team. I don't see a career growth. So it was more like a guidance from the higher up
But
that
pretty clear, pretty straightforward.
yes, so that is where I switched from web development to Android. So in my case, that was a very weird switch. But then since then, I have worked on different domains of Android itself. Like, let's say how I have worked with the phone manufacturing itself. You work on the OS Android phone itself. So I've worked with that as well. So I've dived pretty deep into Android for 3+ years now. But the switch to from web to Android, that was a weird one in my case.
Well, that's actually pretty good. In my announcement, which I made when I introduced you, I said that you have a wide stack, and I can also say that German companies do appreciate that. It depends on, of course, which role you're going to end up working in, and whether you're working in a company with 100 engineers or with just 10, right? And it depends on the business model, obviously. But in general, I've seen German companies appreciate that, where you're not just super nerdy about this one niche, but in fact, you're able to provide a broader stack. Yeah.
I I completely agree with this point, uh, especially in my current job that I got. In the JD, they had Android and they also mentioned Node.js, which is backend. So that's what actually got me. I was interested. Okay, what is this company about? Why do they need Node.js? That's not a very normal criteria. So that is actually why I joined this company, because if I can get to learn and work with server or understand server as well, it's a plus point. And I think you actually should not just stick to Android, because you also work with web APIs, and when you understand what's happening in the background, it makes things easier for you to work as well. So in my case, it was a big plus that I am aware of backend as well, so it really helps. And also, where I'm currently working, I see that my team, even though we are from Android, they also work. They maintain a server as well. So I think startups and things like that, they do work on multiple
Right.
things.
So this is also something which I remember the company appreciating, and this is why it's been such a good match, right? Because of the Android plus Node.js combination. Um, you are working for a company that is in tourism. Actually, people can book their vacations through you guys. When is your next vacation?
That's what have been asked in my company as well. Unfortunately, I've not planned any yet. I'm still exploring Munich. But we do have a getaway from the company side itself, when we'll be going to Switzerland.
Well, that's nice.
That's good. It's like a meetup of everyone from different domains. So, yay. So I guess unofficially, not really tourism, but then I'll be exploring. That's the best part of Germany again.
That's true, and you get to travel the country. The easiest way is actually do that by train. Germany is a small country compared to India, and you get around quite quickly. I can also say that we have a little bit of a team event at the end of May where everybody from our program is meeting, and you're invited as well, of course.
Hopefully, I can join.
Yeah, I still need to tell you the details and the dates. But other than that, what is your, let's say, final piece of advice for people like you, um, maybe specifically women, but not only, if you want to, make it across, go to a different country, let's say try to find a job in Germany, what would you say is your biggest takeaway from the entire journey that you took so far?
Okay. Uh, I do have a few piece of advice, and for the women who are on break, I would say take the risk. I mean, I know so many people like, I'm not good enough yet. I have to learn. I have to train. I have to train. Take that first step. I know it's scary to get back into after the break, get back into the IT world. But then again, once you get in, people are helpful. You have, at least nowadays, you do have communities like Women in Tech. You have so many groups that you can be a part of and you can learn. And also now we do have more programs wherein they try to get women back to workforce. So I would say, I don't think it's over just because you took a break. I think you can still get back. So I have faith in it, uh, and also, especially in IT world, just because you are not working doesn't really mean that you have to let go of your skill set. You can still do some course, do freelancing if you really want to maintain your hold on IT, let's say, and then you can actually put it in your resume and make sure the gap doesn't come out as a gap. You can fill in the freelance thing. So there are ways that you can still cover up the gaps, I would say. So it's not impossible. And for the people who want to, if they want to relocate to Germany, definitely go with these guys. I would highly recommend them.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
And also, I would say it's a little different here. The interview process, it's not really, as in, it's not like textbook wherein you have to just by heart your algorithms and you have to get no. As long as you have actually worked and you have learned things, and if you are able to convey that, there's pretty good chance you will land the job. So only thing is, we don't really know the kind of CV that we should do or how we should portray our skills. So that's wherein you guys are big help. So you may be good at work, but then you may not be able to convey it to the German market. So that's the gap that you guys actually fill, and it's a well invested money. So
Yes, another example of how it can work to find a job in Germany. If you're interested to also join our personal coaching program, you can do what exactly? Book a get to know call through our website. Before that, you need to have watched our 30-minute video training, which shows you exactly how we work. You can have your questions compiled if you like, no problem. We're going to call you, get to know you in the first 10-minute call, see whether and if it makes sense for us to work together. We're going to ask you a couple of questions about your skills, your cloud experience, container skills, and all these and whatnot, but that's just basic. If we find you're a fit, we're going to proceed to a strategy session, as we call it, which is a 45-minute video call that we have on Zoom, where we see each other eye to eye and face to face, and where we're going to be deciding on whether or not you can join the program. If that works out, we're going to be working with you until you have a job. That's also our commitment. We only work with people who are motivated and committed, like Kavya here.
thank you.
And yeah, hopefully then work with you soon, and obviously see you in Germany from the English Garden here in Munich. I hope you got to see some cool impressions in the background. This is Jörg at Find a Job in Germany. So long, and thanks for watching.